Hi, everybody. Welcome to Katrina Rasbold and Friends. And I bet you're impressed already at how many friends I have and how cool they are. Because you know what? So am I. I'm impressed too. And this is what I can officially now call a longtime friend, Hexeba. And Hexeba and I, well, we go back and then we go back further. So we've actually known each other. I figured out as far as sit down and have a conversation with each other since 2014. So it's 11 years. But before that, we were in the same circles and knew of each other and kind of cross paths in ritual and in festivals. And so we could point across the grounds and know who each other was. And I started in that circuit around 99. When did you get there?
Oh, heavens. Well, I was living in Nevada from like 1985 to 1995. So probably it would have to probably be about 1999, 2000, somewhere in there.
So we slammed into the Sacramento pagan community around the same time. And the way that I can track that timing is I know that the first pagan pride, the Sac Pagan Pride, was in 99, and Nathan was 2 weeks old. And we went there with him. We were in our VW bus and he was in a little umbrella stroller. So that's how I know that our first foray into festival work was in 99. Now, starting in 98, we started doing some public rituals out at Gibson Ranch and at there was a place up in not Lotus, somewhere up, maybe it was Lotus, somewhere up by where was Luna's shop?
In Loomis.
Loomis, the other L.
Yeah.
So it was in Loomis. It wasn't her shop, but that just happened to be where it was. And there was a couple there named Scott and Gail, and they had a big earth labyrinth, and they had large grounds, and we used to do some rituals there as well. So we were just kind of popping around from place to place. But then in 99 was when we started working the festivals and that sort of thing. So I'm sure that around that time we were probably on the same properties at the same time.
Oh, I'm sure of it. Yeah. Yeah. I remember I knew Gail. And so, and I'm not going to mention last names because again, I don't know who's in the closet and who's out. But I knew her and Pagan Pride, probably her second year of running that.
So that was the year that we had, I think, Patricia Telesco and Z Budapest, and she went all out on the authors.
Yes, she did. And she put on a good festival.
Oh, she did. So for those of you who don't know, this is Gail, who she actually started Sacramento Pagan Pride, but that was in the early ages of Pagan Pride International. And they took her Pagan Pride template and used it as basically the blueprint for pagan prides throughout the United States because it was just that good.
It was
really
absolutely good. And it's a pity that she has, like the rest of us, gotten old and tired and sick and unable to continue functioning in that level. So
croned out.
Yeah.
Speaking of croned out, you know, when I used to go to those festivals, I mean, I was in my late 30s and I had been pagan for a long time, read all the books and collected all the Green Egg magazines and the magical almanacs and the Witch's Almanac, and like you do, you know. And so going there and seeing all these people there was like going to Comic-Con. I mean, it was just and such an amazing experience. And I got to share not booth space, but pavilion space with Oberon Zell, who later went on to become my boss at Green Egg.
I know, it's like rubbing elbows with the rich and famous or something.
It was so wild. And so that was a lot of fun. And then before too long, it was you and me presenting at those festivals. And
And, you know, now we're the old crones, and
we are the old crones. So for many, many years, you owned Cajun Conjure.
Yes.
And made all your own products. You were one of my main mentors that taught me how to work the root appropriately.
Well, I think you had some other helpers over there.
Maya Shelley Gray was another major influence, but the two of you were really my hoodoo folk. And it was just such an amazing experience. And I actually was just redoing Crosswords of Conjure because Llewellyn stopped carrying it. So all the rights reverted to me. So I was able to publish it myself. And I just had it come out on audiobook. And so as I was doing that, I was listening to my producer read it. And you're right there in the dedication with Maya. So that was perfect. Yep. So yeah, we had a lot of fun, you and I. And
we've done a lot of things over the years, and hovered around each other, and
we were in orbit.
But we're in a smaller community too. We're not like living in the Bay Area where you throw a rock and you hit a pagan.
Right.
You know, if you're in our community in Northern California, it's a smaller community, and everybody does know everybody. You know, or we go, wait a minute,
the good and to the not good.
Yeah, who is that? I don't know that person. And they say, oh, she just moved here from LA, or oh, she changed her name. She used to be, and you go, oh, okay, now I'm connected. So yeah, so it's easier, I think, to know everybody in our realm because it's a smaller realm. But it is fun to see the different directions everybody goes. You and I going into curandera and into the magic of hoodoo, into the Southern magics. And but that's because both of us have Southern backgrounds.
Both from the South.
You know, my daddy's from Georgia and my mama's from Louisiana. You can't get a whole lot more Southern.
You just don't.
And
what's a little bit sobering, though, is that so many of the people that we know and hung out with and spend time with are dead.
Shh.
Dead. Samhain dead.
Yeah, there it is. I was from my coven work that I used to have a coven named Dandelion, and I quit doing that when I had my second heart attack. So I didn't give it up because I went straight or anything else like that. But
I would never imagine you were straight, Hexeba.
I jog a very crooked path. But I've had like 4 or 5 members of my Dandelion Coven pass over. Wow. And you know, we still talk to each other, of course, but most of them were total surprises that just out of the blue. Like one of them was hit by a car while he was out jogging, and another was her 4th bout with cancer. She'd had breast cancer, she'd had melanomas, she'd had all kinds of different cancers, and finally one took root and managed to kill her. So yeah, just looking back at that small group that I had, I think we were 20 people at the largest segment of it, and we've lost at least 4 that I know of. And so, and you know, I was having heart attacks, so it's like let's not make it 5.
We were placing our bets, but you defied us all.
So yeah, it was a scary time. I mean, heart attacks are nothing funny about them, and so I had to cut way back on everything that I was doing. So I sold my business and I quit doing coven, and then COVID hit, and so I have been hermiting. I was telling you earlier, I've been hermiting in my house, and I took up quilting. So
Julie of Julie and Lloyd fame was at our house last weekend, and she had brought a number of clothes that she was phasing out of and her daughter was phasing out of. So Delina and I are in there happily going through trash bags of clothes on my bed, and Delina picked up this. it was kind of a shawl, really pretty earth tones. She goes, "Oh, I've got to have this." And Julie said, "Oh, Belle made that." And Delina practically started to cry because I saw these at the festivals. I always wanted one, but I was a poor college student, couldn't afford them. And I've got one now. She was just so touched.
Well, and just recently you found one of my candles at a thrift shop.
At the Goodwill.
It's amazing how we keep living, it just keeps on keeping. Belle was another sudden one that I didn't expect to have it happen.
I still don't know what she died of.
I don't either.
And so, I was in Goodwill and I saw the seal against the white of the candle box. And I thought, no. And I pulled it out. And of course, it was exactly the candle I needed.
Serendipity.
And I thought, and I immediately messaged you and said, "Thanks for everything you did to get the candle to me."
And I understood it burned brightly.
It burned beautifully.
Good.
It really did. And all the way, no ash, just gone. And that's how I like to burn a candle.
Oh yeah. Lately I've been missing my apothecary because I had this humongous room. It used to be the people who owned the house before us had it as their billiard room. So that gives you an idea how big it is. And it's now been converted into my craft and quilting room. But when it was my apothecary, I had 3 walls of jars of herbs and resins and things to make my product out of. And the other day I was getting ready to work on a certain spell and I thought, damn, I miss having that apothecary where I could just walk in and I had everything I needed. I didn't ever have to go looking for stuff.
Yeah.
But it's part of the spell to look for the stuff too.
Yep. That's part of the magic.
Yeah.
So speaking of all those dead people that we know, what do you think happens to you when we die?
Oh, I've been very close to it. I wish I knew. But since I know scientifically that energy cannot be eliminated, it can't be crushed and destroyed, I know that we exist in some way after we die because energy has to find another vessel. It has to find another way to exist. Now, is that in particles of fluff that floats through the air, or is it in another body? Is it in reincarnation, or is it just pure energy that rejoins with the maker or the all, or whatever you consider the godlike creature or creatures? I don't know. There's lots of good philosophies. I like one that's a Chinese philosophy. I believe it's Chinese that says that the all wants to experience all of the human conditions. And so created people to experience those things. And then when they die and convert to energy, they go and join the all again, bringing their experience of the human condition.
I do like that.
I like that one because it means that we are always striving and we are always experiencing, and there's always something you are contributing to the all because you rejoin with the all. So I like that one.
That works. I'll take that one.
I like reincarnation too, except that I don't like the idea of having to redo over things and over that you are just not getting right.
Right.
I don't want to work that hard.
If only. I really feel that because I know some of the things I'm working on are deep in there, and I've probably been working on them for a long time.
Yeah, and there is that. I know that. So, and relationships, different relationships that you have with people, experiencing a new relationship with them so that you can maybe walk a mile in their shoes. Again, that all still kind of comes back to all the different experiences of human. So it could very well be that we reincarnate many, many times so that you gather more experiences. I don't know. Maybe they can combine and join with each other,
and then you report back.
Yeah.
Mothership.
But I do know that I will always exist. I do know that I will always exist because energy cannot be destroyed.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'll see you on the flip side.
Find me again.
Yeah.
So when you get to be old folk like we are, we often do life audits. We often spend our 2 a.m. moments sifting and thinking and sorting and assigning and labeling and
every birthday.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. So we have people that affect us through trauma. We have people that affect us by modeling behaviors we don't want to emulate. We have people that affect us by hurting us in some way. Who, and this can be more than one person, in your life was particularly influential to you in a positive way? Who changed how you think about things and how you identify with the world and engage with the world?
Well, I was adopted at birth. Well, literally at 1 year old, and so my adopted parents had an influence on me. Of course, our parents obviously have influences on us. My adoptive mother in a negative way, what I don't want to do, and my father in his love for his wife and his children was absolutely unconditional. And I find that a very high bar to try to aspire to. Because as much as I love my son, I have conditions. He's 43. I don't want him moving back in with me. So that is a very high bar to reach. In my Wicca and witchcrafts learnings, definitely all the teachers I've had, and I don't intend to mention all of them. There were very, very many, and there are some that cross your path in only small ways. Like if your map of your life is a square, they cut across the corner of it, and so I have people like that just came in and went out, and I went, wow, I want to be her when I grow up. And you don't know what their life is necessarily like or anything else. You're just amazed by them. And so many authors, I started going to conferences to further my education and ended up eventually speaking at some of those conferences. But I met, when I was a much younger witch, I met some people that were very influential in that capacity. I don't know them. I don't know what's going on in their lives. I just have fan fascination. And so there are all those, the authors, especially authors that don't just regurgitate something somebody else has said. That I when I read it, I go, oh my gosh, I never thought of it that way. Or, okay, that makes sense. Let me try that. Those people I admire a lot. That's why I admire you for writing your books.
Thank you.
I know how hard it is to write a book. I majored in journalism. I know how much work goes into that. And because I would write short stories, and I've been published. I was in magazines with short stories and stuff. And so I know what goes into even just doing a short story. And to say I wrote a book is like, what? So I just totally admire you for that.
Thank you.
But I don't, you and I follow each other. We don't follow each other's footsteps. We have similar paths.
We hold hands and skip.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we do that. But sometimes, like you're writing the books and I put together the Hoodoo Company, and we cross over and we intermix and we know each other. And there are a lot of people in our community who think that we are.
I don't know for sure where that came from. That was really weird.
I don't know either.
Yeah. I mean, there are people in the community that And I'm pretty public about that. I'm not as far as bitching about them, but I don't try to pretend like it's not happening. Right. And if somebody asks me, I'm like, yeah, that happened.
I'd heard that. Yeah.
But no, I've never had it.
But yeah, there seems to be this, and I keep telling people, no, we know each other. We're pretty good friends. You know, I once told somebody, it may have even been you, when they asked if so-and-so was a friend. And I said, that person has never been to my house. That's kind of how I define what my friends are.
I think that's fine.
Because I'm not going to invite somebody over that I don't particularly like, you know? Sure. So if people understand that my friends have been to my house.
I'm grateful to have been to your house many times.
My friends have come and eaten at my house. My friends and I go out to dinner together.
Yeah, we've done all those things.
Right? And we've done all those things and we've worked together. And so it's like, why would somebody think we were, I don't know.
Because one thing pagans thrive on is drama.
Oh,
so and I do not miss that. When I withdrew from the community with love and just went onto my mountain, that's something you and I both did is hermit.
Yeah.
And when I got to that place of just hermiting, I did not miss all that drama. Oh my gosh. And I think I mentioned to you in the pre-show that when Sac Pagan Pride came around this time in, they actually did the first weekend of October. I thought about going and I thought, no, I just can't. I just associate it with so much angst and drama and people shit stirring, and I just didn't even want it.
Well, and you know, the image of the crone, she lives in a cottage of her own making in the middle of the woods, and you know, she's very Baba Yaga.
Right.
She's always solitary. Yeah. And I have a real strong intuition type feeling that this is what happens. We reach the crone stage and we say, okay, enough of this. We're going to hermit.
Give me my house with the chicken feet.
And we go and find our little cottage and we sit in our little cottage, and people will come to us still. And that's fine. We'll accept people coming and seeing us and talking to us and maybe seeking out advice or whatever, but we are not going out seeking the drama anymore or trying to smooth over, you know, being the peacemakers anymore.
We also have some bitch at the bridge go and answer me these questions 3 before they get to us.
I need to find some trolls, is what you're saying.
Need some trolls right now today.
But there's that image, and I think that image is because of what we're experiencing. We get to a certain age, and that's all we want to do is we just want to kind of hermit. And I think it serves a purpose because it lets the younger ones that are up and coming and willing to do the hard work and willing to have the stamina and the content. There's a word that I want, and it's just right on the tip of my brain, and I can't think of what it is. Anyway, that's another thing, that they have the constitution to put together the festivals and put together the new things. And they are kind of, in essence, repeating what we did. It'll be a different thing because it's theirs, not ours. And it'll be similar, and it'll be hopefully forward movement in it, because how sad if we go backwards
or just disappear.
Yeah.
We can really hope that.
I don't think it'll ever disappear.
That's my hope. My concern is that one of the things that always drew us together into those festivals, into those cons, was the fact that we did not have connection in other ways at other times, other than the festivals and the cons. We had our own little groups, but it was almost like the clans of old that would come together in one big clan meeting. And now it's a big internet clan. Now everybody's connected and can talk about witchcraft anytime they want to.
But they're not connected, and they don't understand that human energy connection.
They don't have anything to compare it to.
No. And you cannot get that on the internet.
You can't. But at the same time, I think that's why so many of the festivals and the cons are dying out, is people don't feel the value and they don't have that novelty, that Disneyland feeling of coming to a festival and looking around and seeing 1,500 pagans there and getting the chills because you're thinking, oh, there's so many of us. These people are like me.
Yeah, and also it's a safe place where you can let your freak fly.
Yeah.
Which is fabulous. And yes, you can do that on the internet too. And there is some safety in that you are anonymous pretty much. And I mean, people have to work very hard to find the rest of your life.
Yeah.
But energy, human energy is, to me anyway, to me and my teachings, the way I've learned, human energy is a very necessary component to the magic.
I agree.
And I think that some of the younger people, some, not all, but some of the younger people who are strictly internet witches are missing that component, and they don't even know it's missing.
Mm-hmm.
And that saddens me, because the first time I experienced a ritual in a circle, because I've been solitary for many years, but the first time I experienced a circle energy and the magic that could create and the energy that raised, I mean, even now I get goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. And it's an absolutely amazing feeling. And it makes you addicted to it. It's like a drug. You want it again and again and again and again and often. And you keep reaching for more people to pull in yourself into, so that you can experience and that feeling, that and then you start going to some circles that don't have that energy for some reason, and you're going, what's wrong with this circle?
Yes, we've definitely had that experience. And one of the local circles that was very popular, people really enjoyed. In fact, I can think of two of them that Eric and I went to. We took our group there so that they could experience a different way of doing things. And the group just on the way home kind of looked at each other and they were saying, what just happened? And I remember a prominent pagan leader in the Sac community was doing a cone of power, and they got all the energy going, they got it building, and then they said, thanks for coming to our ritual. And they're all looking at each other like, you didn't release the energy, where's the cone? And they called it a cone of nothing. So
yeah, and it makes you wonder what's going on, because obviously they know how to raise the energy. Did they miss the second part of the?
Yeah, was it flop sweat? I mean, there's been plenty of times I forgot to release the quarters or do whatever. Everybody has their times that they.
One of my most experienced practitioners in my circle one time was casting the circle, and she went Widdershins. And for some circles, intentionally going Widdershins would be okay.
Yeah.
But in this instance,
not in BTW, man.
That wasn't supposed to be happening.
Yeah.
And she got all the way back to the altar, and I looked at her, I said, do you want to now cast it the right direction? And she went, oh shit.
We all have that time. We all have, and it's always in front of a shitload of people.
Yeah.
But
you're able to laugh about it. And that's part of being human. And that's part of bringing the joy into the circle. Yeah. We laughed about that one forever. And, not to embarrass her or anything, but
no, you can't ever let her forget it.
Oh God, no.
Got to bring that up.
Oh, and she'll call me on my shit when I do something,
Exactly. It's what you do. So when you look back on all that you've done, all that you've accomplished, what are you the most proud of?
Oh, I was very proud of Dandelion. I was proud that, like so many groups, it didn't just fizzle out. And I was sorry that I had to release it, that I had to stop doing it. But the stress on my heart was just too much. Sure. There is so much work and preparation that goes into running a coven.
There is.
And it's not just that hour or 2 hours or whatever the ritual time is. that people see you. It's so much behind the curtain. There's so much behind prep for it. From everything from cleaning your house to putting the ritual together, to gathering all the supplies that are necessary to make sure everybody knows what part they're playing and that they have their things put together and memorized or not memorized, written out or whatever they're doing. Is there costumes involved? How many costumes? What costumes? Where are they getting these costumes? There's so much involved in putting together that I just couldn't continue with it. But the existence of it, and it was now your coven has gone a really long time, but a lot of covens last to the max maybe 2 or 3 years.
It's true.
They're very short-lived, and it's really sad because I'll talk to friends I have in the Bay Area and I'll say, oh, you're a part of such and such coven, and they'll say, oh no, they disbanded, so now I'm with so and so, and I know why they fizzle out, because one person is left to do all the work. And that can't happen. It just doesn't work that way. And so they'll fizzle out. They'll grow tired and old. But ours lasted a good, I think it was 7 years. And that's relatively long-lived for a coven. Yes. And the only one that I know other than yours is my teacher, Valerie. Her group has been running for over 20 years.
Yeah. Our first group went for 20 years, and then we retired out, and the current group's been going for 3 years, but several of the people from the first group are in this group.
Right.
So that kind of is almost like a bridge there.
Yeah, I know. I'm always amazed when a group goes longer than 5 years. That's a long-lived coven.
It is.
And we were doing fine. We were doing strong, and I think we would have lasted quite a while longer. But again, health reasons, I had to stop. Now, so I'm very proud of that group. I'm very proud of what we accomplished with that group. I'm proud that I raised up 2 third-degree Gardnerians. So I have children. And so I'm proud of that. I was proud of my business and really miss it. I really do. But at the same time, it ran its course, I think.
It did.
And it introduced a lot of people to hoodoo. It made me a speaker at Pantheacon, and I was able to, I had already been a speaker. Valerie, my teacher, and I co-taught a subject called Village Witchery. And we did that for several years. And then Glenn, who ran Pantheacon, came to me and said, I would really love you to teach a hoodoo class. And I went, really? Because nobody in California knows hoodoo. And it was like, really? And she said, yeah. And I said, oh, okay, I will. And so I did. And it was popular. I was very surprised.
Standing room only.
Yeah. And I was very surprised at that. And so we did the hoodoo thing for quite a while, teaching several classes on that. And so I'm real proud of introducing hoodoo to California.
Yeah.
And I think it has caught on. I think there are a lot of people out here that have been practicing hoodoo, but I also wonder, are they read books? I hate to say that, but there is people who will read a book on hoodoo or read a book about hoodoo and think they know how to practice it. And it is so, just like the things that you practice, it is so interwoven with so many different aspects of things. Like it's interwoven with Christianity. So if you throw out the Christianity, are you throwing out the baby with the bathwater?
Right.
And so there's that part of it, but people who are practicing hoodoo and coming to it from witchcraft are not comfortable with the Christianity aspect of it. And so it just becomes this giant mess. And so there's that.
There's that.
There is that. I'm proud of the friends and the friendships that I've made through witchcraft. I am proud of, I'm proud of my husband, who is not a pagan.
He's a good one.
He's a good one. He's a keeper. He's not a pagan, but my brand of religion and witchcraft and magic practices, nothing phases that man anymore. Nothing.
He's pretty unflappable.
Yeah, totally unflappable. Yeah. He's a good guy. And whereas your husband shares your interests, my husband doesn't, but he just understands. I say, I can't talk to you about that. And he goes, I understand.
Well, and he's so supportive. He's lugged so many tubs to festival.
Oh my God. Yes. Yes. And comes running out to adjust PA systems that don't work. He does. You know? So yeah, he's been very supportive, and he's been my champion. So I'm really proud of him for sticking in there. We're 27 years coming up in June.
Very nice. We hit hold on. This is 20. So we hit 28 next week.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you. It's also his birthday. So yeah. So what movie or TV or podcast or book are you into lately?
Ooh, lately. I love true crime.
Same. And I don't know why. I cannot explain it.
I can't either.
Give me the murders and I'm all set, you know.
Well, and especially if it's not solved, I want to solve it.
Oh,
I want to figure out what's missing. What's the piece that's missing here? I also do genealogy. So genealogy is, again, finding the puzzle pieces and putting them together. And so I think that's almost a natural.
I agree.
Expression. So I love true crime. So I listen to a bunch of true crime podcasts, and Mr. Ballin is my favorite one right now. And so he's my favorite podcast right now. Let's see what else. Other podcasts I listen to, people are going to think this is boring. I listen to writers podcasts. I listen to knitting podcasts and quilter podcasts and things like that. And most people are going to go, yeah, that's a visual thing. How do you do a podcast with that? But that's what I'm doing for podcasts. For TV, I just got Netflix.
Oh,
I'm binging
everything.
Everything, all the things. I'm binging. I went back to the beginning of NCIS.
Oh, nice.
Got to stay with the true crime thing, you know. So I'm binge watching NCIS, all the seasons. And Netflix only has it up to like, say, season 6. So then I had to go find it from 6 to 12 on Disney, and then you can come back to Netflix and they have the rest of it. So I've been doing that. What else have I been doing? I don't normally watch a lot of TV. So this binging thing that I'm doing is like really, I haven't watched TV for a long time. When I lived in Pollock Pines, which is up the mountain from you, I think, isn't it?
Now it is. Yeah. It used to be across the mountain. Now it's up the mountain.
Now it's up the mountain. We didn't have great TV reception, and there was no such thing as a cable. We couldn't even we had dial up on our computers because it just didn't come to our area. So we're out in the middle of nowhere. And so we had 3 channels on the TV. So, and one of those was the public broadcast, you know. So we didn't watch TV all that much. We might watch a news broadcast every now and then. I remember coming to work one day and the people said, "Oh, they caught the guy who bombed the Olympics." And I went, "Somebody bombed the Olympics?" And they're looking at me like, "Where do you live, under a rock?"
Mini rocks.
Yeah. So I tell people I don't watch TV, and they don't get that. They don't understand. But we had no TV up there. And so when we moved back down the mountain and we finally had TV, I wasn't in the habit of watching TV. So we didn't do it too much. We might sit in front of the TV at dinner and eat our dinner and watch the news or something like that. Or occasionally, if there was a special on PBS that we wanted to see, we might tune into that, but not too much. And so now that I got this Netflix and I'm binging, my husband's looking at me like I'm an alien. It's like, who are you? What are you doing? So I don't watch TV a whole lot. When I do, I might watch the baking channels, watch the baking contests.
Yes, of course.
Those are fun.
Love those.
So
good stuff. So
my guilty pleasures.
Speaking of pleasures, one of the things you do that is kind of the end goal for a lot of people who are retired is you travel a good bit.
We are starting to travel more and more. I have to convince my husband to quit working, but he's retired too, but he's still working.
So and I'm not just limiting this to travel, but often people mention travel in this question. What do you still have on your bucket list that you want to do before you kick that bucket?
Mostly it is travel. My sister and I, with my husband, we're taking him with us. We want to trace some of the places in France that our families came from. So we are planning a trip in April. I think it's going to be in April to go to France. And of course, we'll have to go to Paris. And my sister, who is very Catholic, wants to go to Lourdes. So we'll do that. But other than that, we're going to all these little hamlets out in Bodunk. And so we're doing that in April. I want to do more of that because I have family from France. I have family from Spain. I have family from Italy. I have family from Germany. And my husband does too. His is mostly Germany and England. And so we want to hit the places our families came from. And so I'm excited to be doing that. We're doing that a little bit more. We just got back from going to Boston and Maine to see the change of colors back east, and it was amazing. It was fabulous. And you come back to our neck of the woods in California, and you go, everything's so green. You know, it did this year too. It never really even got brown from summer.
Right.
It got a little bit, but not too much. And so it's kind of just been green for a long time.
You know, Eric, here it is November 4th. Eric just mowed the grass a couple days ago.
I know. I'm waiting for the rains to come.
Tomorrow.
I'm hoping they happen.
Yeah.
Every time they say there's going to be a rainstorm, then somehow it avoids us. It goes around us. So I'm hoping we get one. I'm ready to put logs in my fireplace.
For sure. We've had a couple fires so far this year. We're higher up than you are, but supposedly tomorrow we're going to get just 99% chance, 2 inches of rain. So I'm excited for that.
Yay. Yes. Yeah. Send some of it our way. Send some of it.
You can have all you want. So what's your favorite part of the day?
Oh, night.
Take the bra off, put on the nightgown.
Yeah. I do like the nighttime when my husband's gone to bed and the cats are all curled up for the night and they're not bugging me to get fed. I have cats that swear that I'm trying to starve them to death. They insist on being fed every hour or so. They're so spoiled. But they settle down to go to sleep about 10 or 11 o'clock at night. My husband will go to bed around midnight and I have the house to myself and it's quiet. And I like that because then I'll do my reading or my writing or every once in a while I'll do my crafting where I have to concentrate on, if I'm knitting, I have to concentrate on the pattern. And I can't do that when people are constantly interrupting me. And so I really do like that. Sometimes I will do things like plan out my menu for the week because I try to cook at least one new recipe every week.
Wow, that's ambitious.
I like to cook. And so, so I'm trying to learn how to bake. I'm a terrible baker. Can't bake to save my life. And so I'm trying to learn how to bake. I think I'm a pretty good cook. You've eaten my cooking.
I'm impressed.
And you have not died. You have not been poisoned. Died.
I still think about that chicken pot pie all the time.
The special request by Katrina. I want chicken pot pie.
I really, and it's been many, many years since I had it. So
yeah. So I'm a pretty good cook.
You're pretty good cook.
But I can't bake. So I am trying to learn how to bake.
So if you could go back to any point of time in your life, with full knowledge that you've got now, and tell your past self something with the understanding that your past self would be receptive and would at least hear you out.
I don't know. She's pretty stubborn.
You know how we were, but they're going to listen. They might not do it, but they'll listen. And then you could later say, I told you so. Where would you go back to and what would you say?
Boy, that's a tough one. High school would probably be the advantageous point, because I think after high school, I went down some paths that maybe I could have saved myself some heartache by not doing. But at the same time, I am who I am today because of the mistakes I made and because of where I went on the path. So you have to understand that if you go back, it's like that butterfly effect. If you go back and change who you were at 16, 17, 18, then you're not going to be who you are today. You might save yourself some heartache. You might save yourself some embarrassments, maybe some breaking up of friendships that you miss. You might, continue on with the person you were madly in love with. Would that be a good thing? So I think the best time to do that would have been in high school, but at the same time, I hesitate to do that at any time in my life for fear it would take me off the path that led me to here. And I am really, really happy with who I have become and what I do, and the life I have. I get bored sometimes, but other than that, I have no complaints.
Most of the people that I talk to and ask that question, they have a very thoughtful answer about, I would have told myself to be more compassionate or to be a better listener. I would have said, trust your instincts. David Kurt, when I interviewed him, the guy from Bubble and Squeak, he said, I would have told myself to invest in cryptocurrency. But then he went on to give a much more eloquent, but I thought that was very apropos.
Yeah. I mean, sure, there'd be things like that where, could I use more money? Sure. But on the other hand, I didn't have money really to start Cajun Conjure with.
Yeah, no, that's how we did it, wasn't it?
It was. I had been saving for probably 3 years, empty bottles, like jam jars and, mustard jars and those things. I had been saving them for like 2 years. And my husband was like, are you becoming a hoarder? What is going on here? And he didn't know why I was keeping them. I didn't know why I was keeping them, but I just don't throw away the jars. And we put them in, we must have had 6 or 8 boxes in my storage shed, just these empty jars. And when I decided to start the company, it was like, oh, that's why the jars are here. Because I didn't have any money to go out and buy jars, or I think I finally had an account with a jar company, with a bottle company, the second year of the business. And prior to that, it was all stuff I had saved up. And I say a lot. So there's things like that would I want to have more money to have started the business? Yeah, that would have been nice. Would I have liked to have invested in Microsoft when it was nothing? Sure. Yeah. Who wouldn't? But I'm pretty happy with my life and what I do and who I know. And there's been a lot of cleaning out of people who, over the years, it didn't happen all in one day or 1 year, over the years of getting rid of toxic people in my life. And you don't even realize they're toxic because you're in the middle of it. And then you get out of it and you look back and you go, oh my God, why did I do that?
Yeah. Yeah. So. And a lot of those relationships we lived out in public. People got to see how that played out.
That dynamic. Yeah.
That was tough.
Yeah.
Tough.
It is. Growing up is hard.
It is. Even when you're 50.
Yeah. Well, you're still
60.
growing, hopefully.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully just because we reached the age of maturity, that we are not stopping learning. Hopefully we are still learning and making better decisions, but it never ends.
Never ends.
No, I think it would be boring if it did. I think I would just have to sit in a chair and waste away, because I constantly want to do things with my mind. I've been working on, you're going to laugh, I recently started working on codes, ciphers.
Wow. I did not see that coming. But like you said, you like to solve the puzzle.
I like to solve puzzles, and I thought, how can I keep the gray matter working here? So
I started further than Wordle, man.
So on my phone, I downloaded a couple of games that involve ciphers and codes and things, and I bought a couple of books that are cipher code books and crossword puzzles and anything like that just keeps the brain percolating. And that's, I think, important as we grow older, to keep the brain working. Yeah. But I would much rather lose my hearing than my sight. I've talked this over with my husband.
I've had, I have lost a good bit of my hearing, and I do have to wear glasses now, and noticed a huge difference, which was very fun. It was, disproportionately fun to suddenly be able to see things at a distance. And just, I have the progressive ones, so I had to get used to those, but that was just marvelous.
Yeah.
And so yeah, definitely with the puzzles, trying to keep that part of the brain busy, because I can feel it wanting to shut down. And but the hearing, that's been more challenging for me than I thought it would be. It's specifically the tones and the pitch and everything that comes through the phone.
Oh, okay.
And so I try to tell all the people I care about, look, text me, email me. I can't take a phone call because I can't hear, 3/4 of what you say, and have to use context clues to figure out what you just said. So
my hearing goes when there's background noise.
Yes, that too.
So if I'm in a crowded place and you're trying to talk to me, it's like there's too many conversations going at me.
Same thing here. And my daughter sometimes will say things to me, but she's looking away from me. I never realized how much I read lips, that if she's talking into the wind ahead of me, I can't hear shit.
Yeah.
If we're in a movie side by side and she says something, I can't hear shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have to say, what? I feel like one of those old women, with the cone up to the ear.
Well, we are of an age where we remember this person, Art Linkletter.
Oh, yes.
Art Linkletter said, growing old is not for sissies.
That's for sure. But he also said kids say the darndest things. And
they do. You want to, if you're trying to keep a secret, don't let your kid know.
Oh, God, no. No. I remember one time my first husband and I were flying from Kentucky. We were visiting family to Guam, which is a day and a half of travel back then.
Yeah, that's long.
And Joe was, I think, 18 or 19 months old. He was a babe in arms. We were getting onto a plane, and wrong husband, Paul, moved wrong and clipped his head on the door as we walked in. And he's like, shit. Oh, it was game on.
That's all the kid could say from there on.
Shit. Oh, over and over. And at first, everybody in the plane thought it was funny and cute, but along about 7 hours later, it just wasn't so much fun.
Not cute anymore, yeah.
Yeah. So is there anything, I say this knowing full well that you are just so done with business, but is there anything you'd like to promote?
No, I like I said, I don't have the business anymore. And I'm not selling anything. Promote peace, promote goodwill.
Right.
Promote human kindness. Those things. If you are of a different political view than somebody, try to listen to them and see if you can find compassion. See if you can find a common ground. or you might learn something new.
One of the things that I recently saw that really moved me, and I got to be honest, it takes a lot to have me have any kind of more than baseline reaction to something now. I always thought that when I was older, I would be crying at Kodak moments and things like that. But really, it takes a lot to elicit an above and beyond for me. And this did. And I can't remember the name of the man, but he was taking Bernie Sanders into Virginia and having him meet with supporters who had been told certain things about him and were not on board with his policies and were of the other team. And just hearing him speak and the way that he navigated those conversations made me really envious of that ability to hold space like that and to say, listen, we're not that far off from each other and what we want. We've been taught to be contentious with each other.
Yeah. I think as a society, we tend to try to part and make ourselves different. And we're really not. Like, I think there's an awful lot of overlap, but people are not willing to find it because they're so worked up about the extremities.
Well, and the distractions and all of the people who benefit from there being that contention in the country. And people just play into it instead of figuring out that, we really do all want the same thing. We're just expressing it differently.
Well, and for the most part, I think both groups, and I'm only dividing us into two, although I think that there's probably more than that, but I think both groups are being played.
Oh, no doubt.
So
no doubt.
I come from a journalism background.
You know what's down?
and I watch the news, and doesn't matter whether I'm watching Fox or MSNBC, either one, and I'm going, that's tilted, that's been spun, that's a spin, that's an out and out lie. That is taking, you can manipulate numbers, you can manipulate the news, and both sides are doing it. Neither side is without blemish.
We no longer have Walter Cronkite.
I know, so sad. Or Dan Rather.
And I'm seeing the guy's face and I can't get it, but yeah, Peter Jensen.
Yeah,
and there's all those people.
I think there used to be a golden era where we actually admired and believed our news broadcasters. Yeah. There used to be a day and time when our politicians, who have always done shady things, did it in the dark, did it hidden from the public. Yeah. And now we're just blatantly doing it out in the open, and suddenly everybody's going, what the hell?
Well, and we have to get our news facts from comedians. And on that happy note, do you have anything to add before we finalize?
Remember that we will get through this.
We will get through this. What's interesting is during COVID, one of my favorite people in the world, Sandy Toksvig, had a podcast that was just called We'll Get Through It. And that gave me so much hope, and it does now too.
Yeah.
We'll get through it like cockroaches.
No, I don't want to compare myself to a cockroach.
We endure.
Energy can't be destroyed.
That's right. Neither can cockroaches. Thank you for being here with me today and sharing this time. I appreciate it so much. And as I tell everybody I interview for the first time, if you're brave enough to come back, I've got another 8 questions.
Ooh. Delve into the mystery that is Hexeba.
Oh, absolutely. The best mystery of all. Thank you, Hexeba, for being here with me today and for being such a wonderful friend.
Thank you, my friend. I had a good time.
See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.